This final chapter looks at mining strategy from an information and knowledge perspective and recognizes that information, and sometimes misinformation, is an important tool in formulating strategy. The challenges facing the mining industry have changed over time, and the guidelines directing mining project development have had to adjust accordingly. From this, 5 recognized stages in the advance of strategic management of business enterprises are evident. First one is intuition. Second, financial planning. Number 3, forecast-based planning. Number 4, shareholder value focus. And number 5, organizational learning. In the developed world, this first stage of management, which is management by intuition, characterized much of the decision-making until the mid-20th century. In the less developed world, much decision-making today still fits this model. The key attributes for success are experience and intuition. In the environment characterized by this stage, managers at mine sites are the key decision-makers, since it is the technical aspects of the mining operation that are the dominant concern. Success comes from introducing structure to what is hitherto an unstructured world, be it consistency in vision, refined organizational or reporting skills, or systematic methods of understanding complex ore bodies. In large mines, additional management tools are called for. Financial planning tools to aid mining decisions were adopted from elsewhere in the world. The most common financial planning aids identified with this stage of management strategy include sales, costs, and profit projections, the annual budgeting process, and discounted cash flow analysis of new capital spending proposals. Financial planning is the starting point of any strategy for creating value for stockholders. From a mining industry perspective, 3 significant shortcomings remain unaddressed if management strategy does not extend beyond this traditional financial planning approach. These limitations exist because the tools assume either an unchanging environment or an environment that can be estimated by looking at past events. Also, the tools focus on efficiency and effectiveness. Peter Drucker had a great quotation: "There is surely nothing quite so useful as doing with great efficiency what should be done, what not should be done at all." That really sums it up. And then the third one, the tools provide little or no assistance for decisions subject to risk. The degree of stability that characterized much mining until 1970 obviously does not apply to very much mining in the developed world today. Forecast-based planning explicitly recognizes that the future will not be just an extrapolation of the past. New and enhanced analytical tools are associated with this stage of strategic management. Market research is one such tool. Product life cycles, the cyclical pricing and demand for mineral commodities, and the influence of inflation are additional inputs that are recognized in this stage for their increasing importance. These inputs can be readily incorporated in discounted cash flow analysis and in other management decision tools. In the scenario planning, in the resource industries, a phase of strategic management is also home to some of the greatest advances through the development of scenario planning. Many mining companies are now pushing the scenario planning approach further down the organization rather than leaving it as the exclusive preserve of some executive think tank at the head office. Scenarios first emerged after World War II as a method for military planning, but they reached a new dimension in the resource industries in the 70s and the 80s. Scenario planning has been referred to as the gentle art of re-perceiving. The shareholder value approach is summed up by Ryman, 1988, which is in the reference section of the textbooks. Quote, "The various value-based approaches are all aimed explicitly at the goal of structuring and managing a corporation in a way that will create more value for its shareholders." End quote. In short, the focus is on the market price of a corporation's shares. This concept treats the environment of business not as one of passivity and neutrality, but one where other participants, employees, customers, competitors, suppliers, are all intelligent and purposeful people whose aims, expected actions, and expected reactions have to be taken into account in arriving at decisions. Our discussion question this week pertains to this phase and the shareholder's value perspective. We covered organizational learning in a previous chapter, so it's not shown here in Chapter 16. But as a refresher, mechanisms for updating, expanding, and extending knowledge can be referred to as organizational learning. And through organizational learning, the more experience an organization obtains, which is total production, the more number of inputs, direct man hours, continue to decrease. To carry it further, assume a competitive market where everyone sells at the same price. The most profitable company will be the one with the lowest overall cost of production. Competitive advantage and the maintenance and growth of shareholder value rest firmly on strategies that are unique to the organization. For mining-related enterprises, 4 specific directions offer potential: entrepreneurship, capital value and asset management, the value of dispersed and tacit knowledge, and human capital. We won't be going into detail on these topics, but you can skim these topics on pages 255 through 262 of the text.